Hi everyone, my name is Phi Thuy Nguyen. Welcome to another episode of Do It Different. From parenting to business, from the bedroom to the boardroom, how to engage in your life differently so that you can enjoy and experience your very own different kind of happy. My special guest today is Darian Mobley, whose experience and expertise ranges in so many different ways. And in a moment, I'll have her introduce herself and share her background with you. What I'd like for us to receive from Darian's wisdom is how to do corporate life differently so that you can still be in charge of your personal life and have success at the corporate level. So without further ado, Darian Mobley.
Thank you, Fee. I don't know if I've done it differently. It's my story. It's my journey. It felt like every step was the right next step. I think what I have, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done. I have worked primarily in the tourism industry for the last 35 years. And that ranges from working in a hotel, doing sales and catering, to working for a city and marketing that city. And then I had the honor of being the director of tourism for the state of Mississippi, and then after that, the state of Louisiana. I've always, my mother passed away when I was 22. And while that left a big void in my life, what I feel like the gift that I have been given is people in my life who believed in me at times more than I believed in myself. And so I've always been given someone who gave me the push to go for the job that maybe I didn't feel like I was qualified for. There's a line in a book that my daughter just read that said, "Great people do things before they think they're ready."
Oh, great people do things before they think they're ready. Just stepping up and stepping out there.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know that I think I'm great, but I do think I've stepped into every job going, I have no clue. I have no clue how to do this. And I've always believed that somehow I would figure it out.
Yes.
And I've also had a belief that I would be taken care of financially. So while money at times has been very tight and been an issue, and I've been challenged on that, but I've always thought we'll figure it out. That God, the universe, that there would always be enough money. I've taken several risks in jobs where I've either quit a job because I felt it wasn't right. And in some cases, that was really scary. In 2004, I was the tourism director for the state of Louisiana. It just wasn't a good fit for me. And you and I have both used this statement, but the pain of staying was bigger than the fear of leaving. And while the fear of leaving was very big, benefits and how was I going to make money and what would be the next step. And when you're in a political position, you can't go out and look for a job while you have a job because everybody would know. So you really had to stop dating this guy before you could start dating this guy. So I had to quit.
Yeah.
And really had no clue what I would do. Yeah. And I was married, and my husband said I had a safety net that he would, pay the bills for a little while I figured that out. And I started Darian Inc., which is just a consulting company that I do special projects, mainly tourism related, some leadership work. And my newest venture is that I am getting certified to be a professional life coach. Yes. And I'm so excited about being able to help women find their passion, live in alignment with their values, and really find balance and peace in their lives. And I feel like that's where I am now. The few things that I wish I had known then that I know now is that I start every day with an intention. And I may have 4 or 5 intentions. When I go into a meeting, my intention now is to be interested and not interesting, to listen and not have to talk so much and not have to convince them that I deserve to be in the room. My intention every day stays the same, and it is to show up, speak up, and to be curious and present in the lives of the people I come in contact with. And I pray about that every morning. And what that does for me is that I walk in the door knowing that that is the most important thing. And that means if someone walks in my office to not still be emailing or looking at the phone or looking down at my text, but to be present for that person. It's a hard intention to keep every day, and I don't always do the best that I could do at that, but I do. It is my intention. The other thing that I think is so important that has changed my world is to have quiet time. And I've done that throughout my life, but I do it more consistently at this point. And when I do that, and for me, that is a short meditation, then prayer, and then I end that with my gratitude list. Then I don't walk in the office waiting for the next thing to hit me. The next, what's coming at me today, who's upset about what, or what have I done wrong, or then it's, oh, we messed up on that letter. Okay, well, let's get it right. It doesn't hit me that I did it. Okay. So I'm able to separate myself a little bit from that, and I'm centered. And it is the most important thing for my clarity in work.
I told you would get so much from there, and that's like so awesome. To start your day from a space of intention, and I know you do it consciously now. You know how important intentions are for me as well. And to be able to do it consciously now is wonderful. I like to step back to more of your history and how you've gotten to where you are today, because I know, my first job was in corporate America, and so I know the pressure and the stress of being in corporate America, as well as feeling like your life is tied up because that security of that regular paying check can be such a huge hindrance to how we want to live our lives, right?
Yes.
And so for you, having that belief in yourself, which I heard, was huge, and being willing to take the risk to do something different when something didn't feel right to you, has not lessened your success, but it's increased your success and your well-being.
It has. And I really, as I knew I was going to talk to you, I've never considered that I took risks. But moving from Mississippi to Louisiana with a young child and starting over in a new city, that was a risk. Those were big changes. I think anytime you step into your authentic self, the universe opens up and you end up where it is you're supposed to be. And those are sometimes very scary things to do. There's 2 times that I've quit jobs that I knew this just doesn't feel right. And I remember when I left one job, I told my boss, I said, I was in my mid-40s, and I said, I have forgotten what I'm good at. And that is not your fault. That's my fault. And I need to go home and figure that out. Because I don't fit here. This is not the right environment for me. So I was clear enough to know that I was losing whatever confidence I had gained over my career. I was allowing it to be taken away in that position. And I stepped out and started something different.
Wow. I love
and I did it different.
You did it different. I love it.
Did.
And so to have belief in yourself, and what you just said tells me that you took responsibility. You said, this doesn't feel right. I'm not where I want to be, or the skill set I have is not what I want to have, and it's not your fault, it's mine. Right. Taking that responsibility and then turning the energy and the focus inward and saying, okay, so what do I want to do about this? Allow you the courage to step forward and doing something different again. Yeah. Creating your own company and doing consulting work on your terms.
And even in my company, it certainly evolved over the 9 years. I hired an executive coach about 3 years ago, and I started doing yoga, and that was very, very important for me for a lot of reasons, not just my health, but my spiritual and emotional well-being. But what the coach helped me do is align my values. I knew I had them. I knew how I felt when my boss asked me to do something that didn't feel right or didn't feel ethical. But I could not have told you my values. And so through the work that I did, it was really getting clear, one, what my gifts are. And I don't think we recognize our gifts in ourselves because it comes easy. And so we don't realize that it doesn't come easy for other people.
Yeah.
And so we undermine ourselves and go, well, anybody can do that. Because it's so easy for me, it must be that easy for you. So I don't think we recognize our gifts as gifts. And then understanding really what my values are and looking at every decision and say, is that in alignment with who I want to be and where I want to be?
So for someone who's in corporate America now, who really feels like he or she needs the safety and security of that check coming in regularly because there are responsibilities, and who also feels a misalignment to their values and who they are and how they want to live, what suggestions can you give that person to begin to consider how they can have both the success and security that they want, as well as the kind of life and well-being that they deserve? How can they begin to merge the two?
I think it's very clear that we, many times women particularly, I think, we don't believe we have the value in the organizations we work in. So we don't speak up and ask for what we want. And I watched several young 35-year-old women that came to me in one of my positions of leadership and said, I want to be a better mother, but I don't want to leave my job. And we negotiated for them to work 32 hours a week. And I wanted to support what they wanted in their life, and they were valuable enough that I didn't want to lose them in their jobs. So I think sometimes it's just speaking up.
So
speak up and say, is this possible? Is there another way to do this? And if there aren't, then you make the decision of, is that in alignment with my values? Is that what I want to be doing? So you stay and you make that choice. Or you look for places where flexibility or a different structure is possible.
So what if there is a critic out there who says, yeah, easy for you to say because you've done it and you succeeded. How do I know it's going to work for me?
I think that all of us have the inner critic, and I call that the gremlin. And that's the voice that says, you're not good enough, you can't do that. And we all have that. I have that. And I struggle with it all the time. I think that the times that I have not listened to the gremlin and trusted my higher self have been the times that I call it living out loud, but living to your fullest potential. And those are the times that I felt the lightest in spirit. And that I knew. So everybody has that ability, and wherever they are.
Will it work out though?
Would work out?
Will that work out if I were to live like that?
If you live in alignment with your values, I believe that opportunity will come. Obviously, there's fear, and everybody needs to have some money, and we all can't just walk out of our jobs. And I had a unique opportunity because I felt supported by my husband. But it was not a situation that I didn't have to work. It was just a situation of, I'll float you for a little bit while but you better figure this out soon. So I certainly felt the pressure of what does that look like. But I did have a safety net. So I was in a special situation. I'm very blessed that I had that opportunity to do that.
That's awesome. One of the things you said early on that caught my attention is the fact that there's always been someone to guide you along to the next step, the next part of your journey. Do you think that people saw in you what you didn't see in yourself because you had that belief that you could do anything? Do you think there's a correlation there?
I don't know. I've never thought of that. And, I believe that God puts people in your life for a reason. And I think even the boss that it didn't work out, she was put in my life to push me to get out of that job and into more of what I wanted to be doing. I would have probably stayed in that type of work a lot longer. So even in that situation, she was put there to push my buttons that got me to leave.
So, that is such a huge lesson for those of you who may be in situations where you do have a difficult boss. That may be your greatest blessing.
Right. What is that pushing you to do?
What is it I don't like? What is showing up that's out of alignment for me? And it's so out of alignment that the pain to stay is much greater than the fear of moving ahead. And because that boss is there and the pain is great, so I'm now willing to take that leap and step forward into a space of unknown, maybe, and space of fear, so that I can ascend to the next level. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the good news is one of those career places that Darian walked away from, she got a call this morning.
Yeah.
Basically, she can come back and name her price and negotiate exactly what it is that she wants. And so you never know. By speaking up and stepping out, we honor ourselves so that later on, whether people honor us at that moment or not, there is an opportunity for them to come back, and we get to decide.
You know, there's a Dr. Phil line that we teach people how to treat us, and I think when we honor ourselves, we don't allow other people to treat us disrespectfully, because we're in a more holistic way. We're in a more centered, full way.
And I know I am so blessed to be in an environment that I do get to make those conscious choices for myself every day. And I also know how difficult it is in corporate America to show up in that space, though. So what would your nugget of wisdom be for women, men who are having to show up in much more restrictive environments and structured environments, to show up to who they are and teach other people how to treat them?
I know. It's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
You know, I just did it. I don't know. And there were times that it felt, you know, restraining, and I knew I wasn't in alignment. And you chose to stay there because it was a paycheck, and, you know, I think it's looking for the people in that company that bring you some joy to spend time with, looking for being grateful that you have that position, because you obviously are making a nice salary and you're in the corporate world. What is that opening you up to? I think sometimes we feel stuck when there really is an opportunity to appreciate where you are, and to have an opportunity to then look at what else is out there. But instead of hating where you go every day, go, wow, at least I have somewhere to go. So start to be grateful and to look for the things that are working there and that do support you.
That's great wisdom. So appreciate and enjoy what it is that you have, and use it as a springboard to move you in the direction of where you want to go and where you want to be.
Because sometimes when you're doing what doesn't feel right, you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't had that job. Absolutely. So they're all an experience along the way to get you to where you are now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. And so your tidbits, if you had 3 or 5 strategies to offer to someone who is in corporate America now, who may be struggling with where they are and what they're experiencing, what would you give in terms of guiding them to show up and to move forward?
I'd say hire a coach.
And Darian is available.
I'd say hire a coach. And that's what helped me. But I think it is about a daily, whatever that is for you, quiet space, whether that's in your shower or on the car drive on the way to work, where you get centered. And that really tells you what's important to me. What am I grateful for? What are my blessings? And it just changes the way you show up. That to me is the most important thing that I do. And to set an intention. And, you know, to just show up in a different way for the people you work with, who are also in the same position that you are. And to be the one person that tries to help everybody else see the opportunity in the job as opposed to the negatives in the job. Don't feed into the, oh my God, I can't believe we have to do this every day kind of thing. Right. Be the one that steps up.
Be the change you wish to see in your world.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So get a coach, get clarity on your intentions and your values.
Yes.
So that they're guiding you instead of just the mundane day-to-day moving you in this direction or that direction.
I do. I think
and then be the change be the change, and have quiet time so that you can connect to those intentions. Any last bit of wisdom?
No, I didn't know I had that much.
Well, you showed up and look what you got.
Thank you, Fee.
Oh, thank you, Darian. So tell us a little bit about your coaching path that's so new to you now.
It's really new, and it's like a whole new career path for me. It would open up a lot of different opportunities, whether that's corporate coaching or individual coaching. But I really believe that at this point in my life, I would like to help professional women, kind of between the ages of 35 and 65, who feel stuck and don't even know why. Yeah. And I think that what coaches do is they say therapy is about where you've been and why you do the things you do. Coaching is about what do you want, how are we going to get there? And then coaches also say, okay, last week you said you were going to do this. Did you do that? So it's an accountability partner that keeps moving you along the path to get closer to what it is you really want in your life. And it's an exciting, it's kind of a new thing, I guess, that people are more aware of what coaches are and what they bring into people's lives. It was extremely valuable to me, and I hope that I can help other people.
That's awesome. So those of you out there watching and having this thought, oh, maybe I'll get a coach in 3 months. Do it now.
Yeah. Then you'll be 3 months closer to your goal.
3 months closer to your goal, and having someone, walk the journey with you, hold you accountable so that you can show up to be your very best self. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so the journey just continues for you.
It does.
With coaching as an opportunity, you're also now a speaker and hired to speak.
I do some women. I'd like to do more speaking to women's groups. Really about taking care of themselves, finding balance, and those kind of issues. And then I do some leadership programs for corporations and companies. And then I do some tourism assessment work where I help communities figure out what it is they have to market. So those are kind of my areas of what I'm doing these days.
And then on your platter also is this opportunity from an old employer.
It is. There is. It's really it's really, when something comes up like that, and my instinct is always, gosh, somebody wants me, I should take that. But it's really going back to how does that feel for me? What is my intention for my life? What does that new opportunity look like? And would it really get me closer to what it is I want?
And that's a statement of success right there. To me, that encapsulates success, because I get to decide if this fits me. Not, I have to take it because it's there. Yeah. And we get to take a step back and be able to look at our intention and how we want to live. And how blessed we are to be able to do that.
I feel very blessed and grateful for this space right now where I am.
That's so wonderful. So how can someone get in touch with you who's watching and hears what you're saying, it resonates, and wants to hire you to speak to their women's group or hire you for a coaching session?
My email address is dmobley, Mobley, @Darian Inc. And Darian is DARIENNE Inc.com. So dmobley@DarianInc.com. And I'd love to hear from anybody.
Great. Thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. If you have comments or questions, please post them in the comment box below, and we will respond. Take care.